What a week out there in BC WrestlePod land here, folks. We are so glad to have you back with us here on the Bi-Conics Review of Honor. We've got Mikey on the ones and twos. We've got Jesse with us. We've got...
Spiders.
That's not Andrew. That's Adolfo. Also a great addition here. And I've got JBL here as well. We're bringing Adolfo in from the Rampage reviews here to go over the better product in AEW. So... we're going to be reviewing Ring of Honor here all together, going over our opinions of what went on and kind of give you a ones and twos look at what happened match to match. Hopefully, if you liked what you saw here, drop a comment below. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Always a great thing like that. Housekeeping out of the way, remember to subscribe to the channel because we need those subscribes and get you to seeing all our beautiful stuff. Click that alert bell because we have stuff every day of the week. If you are not following us yet, get on social media and follow us at BC WrestlePod. We respond to pretty much anything on there, so we'd love to hear from you. And of course, we have our Twitch channel, which we do broadcast live watch-alongs of the major pay-per-view events. We do have a Patreon, which has some fun stuff coming pretty soon. And of course, the biggest thing in the world, if you are in Middletown Township, New Jersey, next weekend, you can watch History in Action at Wrestle Show, New Jersey, as the East Coast contingent and Mikey meet each other for the first freaking time.
Yep.
It's
Literally,
pretty much this whole group right here.
Yep.
Space-time continuum is breaking down. It's gonna be amazing. I think that's about all we have there, Mikey, unless we are missing anything else. I think merch is coming soon. That's about it.
Yes, the shop goes live officially Wednesday, May 15th. So in a couple of days, I'm excited.
Check that out when you get a second. But we are just so happy that the elder god above got our blood sacrifice and dragged you here through some weird algorithmic failure. So now we're going to join in with us. Stick your hands in, folks, because we're going in for the Code of Honor. And we begin. Ring of Honor starts off. Yes, Adolfo.
So really quick, this is Ring of Honor news. We did get an update on one Wheeler Yuta earlier this morning. Yeah, your Ring of Honor strong, your Ring of Honor pure champion, I should say.
That's right.
So Wheeler Yuta, apparently, they didn't think that his injury was as bad as it was, but apparently he is dealing with concussion symptoms, and that is what has been keeping him out. So as of this morning, there has not been any update as to when we're going to be seeing Wheeler Yuta back. So we'll see.
Basically, if I remember correctly, Adolfo, this is on that same timeline with Adam Cole at that point when he had concussion symptoms. There is no set time frame. They don't know how severe it could be. Better to have him up and running than actually get him back in early because that could be a major brain injury. We wish him all the best and to get better soon. And please drop the pure title anyways and give it to Josh Woods because we just need Josh Woods to have that right now. That's a whole different thing. One other piece of info news, though it had happened this week, the recordings we're watching tonight in episode 63 were not from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. That'll probably be in either next week or the week after, but there had been that big story around Sky Blue, as well as other talent that were in the Edmonton shows, with the Edmonton crowd being basically a bunch of perverts on one side of the ring. More has come out about that, including the entire interaction. Rachel Ellering and Aubrey Edwards being heroes among heroes, getting people out of the way. Sky Blue also responding and saying how much she has received in terms of fan love and fan support. We do support the fact that this was a terrible, terrible incident, and that even though at wrestling shows, when we go to them, we try our best to police the idiots in the crowd, sometimes they get through, especially when they have a child next to them, when they're sexually harassing wrestlers. This cannot stand, and I'm stating it right now. These are my thoughts, not just the podcast itself. That is no place for this kind of effort and this kind of rhetoric, and if you are going to shows for that reason, to be the star of the show for being a complete utter dick, you don't belong in this crowd. We're not exclusive.
Yeah.
We just don't want you around.
Yeah, especially if you got a kid with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel for the poor kid.
That's ridiculous. Because now, not only have you proven how much of an asshole you are, but you've proven how much of an asshole you are in front of your kid. And his memory of his first wrestling event is you being a complete asshole and getting kicked out by security. Good job. Good job.
The kid is learning stuff as they're there. But I just wanted to bring that up, that may come up as we are on this review this week. It should come up again probably later on. Please be respectful. Heckle, do what you need, be respectful.
They're talent, they're performers, but they're still humans, and you have no right to treat them as such.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anyhow, that is our disclaimer at the top there. That is our little bit of the recent news going on. let's dive right in. We have the Undisputed Kingdom going off on 2.0, or Daddy Magic Matt Menard and, Cool Hand Ange. They are having a bit of tete-a-tete with them that is going on across brands at this point. The line that came from this is they hope that Ange is going to be a better father than a wrestler, because obviously no one can touch the kingdom. This sets the table for me for having the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions at least featured on the show for a reason. I don't know if this is going to lead to anything on Ring of Honor TV, but I'd like for it to go somewhere, because this is actually building to a group match that could have big implications. I don't know how you all felt about this.
I thought this was an excellent promo. They got me. I started laughing when they kept calling him Melvin, because I was like, that's such a silly thing to do, but it made me laugh. And then I forget which one of them it was, but said, the two that given a taste, they get a taste, you get a taste, somebody gets so much of a taste that someone's now pregnant. That line got me. So I was like, okay, this was pretty clever. This had some teeth behind it, which I really enjoyed, and I'd like to see where this goes.
Yeah, can we just have Taven and Bennett just be the mouthpiece of the Undisputed Kingdom until Adam Cole gets back, and just not let Roddy talk, please? Because this is Roddy when he's cutting a promo. Messiah, and this is how and I'm going to wrestle and I'm do the thing. Messiah.
Roddy, the camera's to your right. You need to turn a little bit.
I like Roddy Strong in the ring. He's a great wrestler. But yeah, Taven and Bennett, they can put some promos on. I thought this was a good promo. I am excited. They have, of all of the ROH champions, I've seen them the most on ROH, because they have had a few proven ground.
Are real high, aren't we?
I'm Puerto Rican, so we get what we can take. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm hoping that this is something that's going to be kept, in house in ROH. Hopefully, this isn't going to be like a 0-hour championship match that we're going to see, on a pay-per-view.
No.
But I'm happy to see ROH champions cutting some promos on ROH. So and it was good. It was good.
At least they were there. I mean, there's
not
nothing
much else
more
you can say about that. Yeah.
There's nothing more I can say, because obviously we are a couple weeks behind of when these were taped to when we're getting them now, because these Daily Places show happened like 2-3 weeks ago at this point.
Yep.
So we're a little bit. Go ahead.
I just want to also state, it's funny as we get into the other matches that the ROH tapings seem better attended than the Dynamite did at Daly's Place. Like, it was more full. It was ridiculous.
I mean, that's very, very fair. But honestly, can you blame them after what we saw from Daly's Place? From what we got? Anyways. I'm excited. I need more. I've been saying we need the tag team champs back in ROH, because Athena and Billy are carrying ROH right now, and we need all the other champions to come back, or vacate their titles, so we can actually have champions on ROH that are exclusive to ROH.
Almost like
the bar is so low. Seriously. But let's move off that promo. That it's a small thing in a big night. We have, honestly, a surprisingly well-paced match coming up next that I really enjoyed seeing, as we had a 3-on-3 match between Taya Valkyrie, Mercedes Martinez, and Deonte taking on Lady Frost and Lela Hirsch, who come out together to give Abaddon their entrance as well. A very Motley Crue team, but man, there are some combinations in here that I want to see farther down the road. Taya and Lady Frost need to have a full match on their own. Abaddon and Mercedes need to go somewhere else, because again, that was so good in the other tournament. I want to see it again. And even Lela Hirsch and Diamante had a couple of fun little bits there where they were getting in each other's faces. I loved this personally.
This was excellent. This was my first of 2 matches of the night, honestly. It was an awesome way to start the card, and my first note that I wrote under this match was, where is Rachel Ellering? Because we haven't seen her in a while, concerned about her injury, but luckily that gets answered later. And I am somebody who has a compulsive need for closure, so I was happy. But no, this was a great match. Yeah,
I thought it was a great match as well. I'm wondering if we're gonna have Diamante, Mercedes, and Taya as like a trios team now, because they worked really well together. I mean, the like y'all said, the whole match was put together, but the 3 of them specifically worked really well together. They had some good spots. Diamante is a powerhouse. Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
She's got some power behind her, and they were amusing. They were very amusing. So I think that Mercedes and Diamante are TV ready.
Oh, easily.
I really enjoyed this match, even from the entrances too, because Diamante and Mercedes come out, and then Taya comes out making out with her husband, and just the small intricacies of Diamante and Mercedes just looking over like, ew. Like, they're just like, what is happening?
That was so good.
I really enjoyed this
so
match.
Like high school.
Honestly, for me, this was close to be my match of the night. Surprisingly, it wasn't, but it came very, very close. But I thought this was a very strong way to open the match. I think all the women did an amazing job. I love that Lady Frost and Lela came out, and then they just waited for Abaddon to come down to the ring too. I like seeing Abaddon in ROH. I think they are amazing, and I want them to stay in ROH because it seems that they're using them more so than, you know, the AEW Universal Cinematic Universe counterpart of television programming.
Well, we're not close to Halloween yet. That's the one time a year Abaddon gets to be on AEW TV, so...
How dare they? But I thought this was a fun match. It kind of makes sense that the heels got the victory here. I'm still waiting on the closure between Diamante, Mercedes, and Abaddon, so hopefully we'll be getting that in the next couple of weeks.
One hopes.
Crossed.
I did write down a couple things here. First on, Abaddon is taller than Layla Hirsch. That's surprising to me. I don't know why it was surprising, but it was surprising.
Why was that?
I don't know.
I think your 6-year-old is taller than Layla Hirsch. Like,
Diamante's not, but that's okay.
How short is Diamante? Okay, that's a tangent for another time.
Listen, JVL, what you need to know is that most Latina women are not going to be taller than maybe like 5'4" on a good day. Like,
you assume I don't know this, but it's good to hear as well. I also had written down I loved Caprice and Ian on this entire match. They were wonderful the entire time. But
so good.
Caprice going, she's got to get a rabies shot from that bite from Abaddon. This is that bad. And then she knows that she knows she's on fire, but the cold doesn't bother her anyway. Gotta get that Frozen reference in, Caprice. Gotta love that there. Come on, Lady Frost.
I love Ian and Caprice.
And who was it? Mercedes or Diamante that when they got in the ring with Abaddon yelled at them and they reacted like they were in fear for their life and like
I think
fell
that was
back.
Diamante.
It was Diamante.
Great.
It stared them down, but not Diamante.
Yeah, just the whole presentation of this match was great.
Again, you want to see both commentary and women's matches done right, you watch ROH. We then had our first Squatch match of Squatch of Mania, as I'm coning it this evening. Anthony Ogogo makes his re-debut into the ring against Zicky Dice, and this was over in 3 moves, and I don't think Anthony Ogogo has improved since he last was on there, so good to hear it, because he gets then a promo afterwards, which is even worse. Take it away.
But I was so confused. What was this? Like, if we're attempting to make Shane Taylor Promotions relevant again, the match certainly didn't help. I kind of enjoyed the promo after it, but that's it was because I disliked the match that much.
Oi.
It was meh, you know.
A glowing review of meh.
Yeah, it was meh. I want to hold my full feeling until next week or the week after to see what they do with Anthony Ogogo and what they do with this promo, you know.
Anthony Ogogo home.
Ooh.
He's
just gonna get back up and face Jericho again, like he always does, and then it's gonna go wrong.
I personally am happy that not Sammy Taylor Productions, Shane Taylor Productions.
Shane Taylor Productions. I'm memorable.
You know the name.
I know, but I'm actually I'm digging that Shane Taylor Productions it has been getting some airtime, and I've been digging that. It seems like they are trying to become a stable, much akin to the Renaissance Canadian over on. Yeah, this is my brain, guys. This is where my brain's at right now. Help me out here.
Dom Fallis family.
There you go, the Don Callis family. Yeah.
How can you forget the Golden Goose?
No one forgets the Golden Goose.
We just forget that Don Callis looks like a giant phallus.
I was just about to say.
Don Phallus.
The Dom Fallis family.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to see the Shane Taylor production that it seems like they're trying to make him a stable. So
they've been trying for about a year and a half to make it a stable.
I mean, other things I feel have been working. This one was meh.
Mikey, tell me why your new favorite insult that we got from this was spunk bubbles.
I died. I'm not gonna lie. I died. I was like, I don't think we can oh, no, wait, this is a streaming show, so we can't say that because it is not on actual regular television.
I didn't even write that phrase down because it was too gross for me.
I thought it was hilarious. Okay, I am the one that tries to be the optimistic one around here. I don't personally mind Anthony Ogogo. I just feel that Ring of Honor committed wrestling trope sin number 452, which is let's stick all the black people together in a faction, and that is exactly what they did with Shane Taylor Promotions. You know, I get it. No, you know what? I'd retract that statement. I don't get it, because you could have picked anybody else to put in this faction, but you chose Anthony Ogogo.
I mean, he's British.
I mean, we got to get that international flair, I guess. But again, you had so many other options, but that's besides the point. I didn't mind the promo. The promo served its purpose in the fact that it reintroduced Anthony Ogogo to a new audience. They weren't, though the success rate is questionable at best with that re-debut to anybody. But, you know, as long as it gets Shane Taylor and Tyga Style back on my television as much for Ring of Honor, then I'm okay with it. I'm just hoping that we do more and we don't forget about it for a couple of weeks and then come back to it, because I got a bone to pick with our main event tonight when it comes to that kind of stuff. But this was Squatch Match number 1. Anthony Ogogo, it was fine. Nice to see Ziggy Dice back on my streaming television after he left TNA a couple, months ago. So nice to see him. Just wish it was in a more competitive bout, because despite what Ziggy looks like, he is a talented wrestler.
It's just strange like that. And also, I feel for Anthony Ogogo that he wants to promote himself. His accent is so thick, though, when you give him a Roman Reigns type promo like this, where he has to say wubbish, and he has that.
I'm waiting for Suffer and Thuckatash to come out of his mouth next.
But with a man that doesn't pronounce his R's very hard, you don't want him saying things like wubbish.
You can't say the hard R, JV. I'm just kidding.
I've gone hard R before, let me tell you.
Ooh.
Basically, that's where we are. And then, it's tough to get that over. And then he says nothing of substance because he's just reintroducing himself. This could have been a video package. I think would have been more impactful. Having Shane Taylor being the hype man that he usually is would have been better as a mouthpiece. It just took, starting off with that took it away from me. I did like spunk bubbles, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, stop saying it.
I'm sorry. Just to talk about something else, the fact that you were worried about a certain wrestler, we were worried what was going on. Here's what's happening with Rachel Ellering. She's, smelling desperation in the air. She hasn't been doing too well. Maria interrupts her backstage and says, "You should have taken my advice."
This Maria is the Maria that I remember. This was vicious. Yeah. She held nothing back. And I was like, this is the Maria Kanellis Bennett that I've been waiting for, that I remember from the earlier days of wrestling from TNA and early Ring of Honor and even WWE. This is the Maria I'm around.
Her own promotion.
Yes, that part too. This is the evil, conniving, I'm gonna say it because I can, Maria. And I was like, she held nothing back. And I had to pause real quick when I got through this promo segment, because I'm like, did she actually just say that? Hold up, let me go back real quick. And then I watched it again. I'm like, oh my goodness, she actually did. If this is the Maria we're going to be getting from here on out, give it to me more, because this is what I've been asking for. And we got it. I really, really enjoyed this. And it broke my heart to see Rachel so sad. But hopefully this is a catalyst for Rachel to start something new, whether she's feuding with Maria or enters a program with someone, because now that we've kind of not pushed off, but we cooled down on the Lela and Rachel friendship storyline that we had during the tournament, I'm excited to see Rachel go off and be the underdog to whatever Maria's connivingness is going to bring, which I'm here for. I think this was fun. This was great. This is probably the better of the promos / video packages that we got throughout this whole 50-hour runtime, so I'm here for it. 50?
Oh man, I missed 49 hours and 10 minutes if this is a 50-hour runtime.
You're right.
I was at work.
It felt like 50 hours.
The promo that Maria cut was was sharp. I felt bad for Rachel Ellering, so I mean the promo, I guess it did its job. I felt bad for Rachel Ellering, and I have to give kudos to whoever told Maria, or if Maria thought about this herself, but to use that like fourth wall break of, well, women's wrestling doesn't sell as many tickets as men's wrestling. That was because, it's very topical, especially with things that have been happening nowadays. And it felt like a very fourth wall breaking, like, jab. All those, fanboys that complain about women's wrestling,
I think it's also too that Maria kind of peeked behind the curtain too, because it wasn't until Maria stepped into ROH prior to pandemic, because ROH didn't have a women's division until a couple years ago. So it's kind of nice to see Maria, who kind of helped establish a women's division in ROH, kind of poke holes into that, which was really kind of nice for the whole thing.
She was trying to set up basically an American Joshi promotion inside Ring of Honor, which then got absorbed when AEW bought it, but definitely nice to see her kind of go off on that as well. So now, Jesse, now you know what happened to Rachel. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm glad to see Rachel. The promo really didn't do much for me, but I'm the odd man out here, and I think that's part of one of John's favorite phrases here is that I don't like fun. So I don't know, it didn't really do anything for me. I thought it could have been better.
JVO, we gotta scratch the t-shirt now.
I know, I'm sorry. We can't do that t-shirt. It was just gonna be the big beard and then just don't like fun.
No, just have it on the inside, so I flip it up and it says no fun.
If I could find a place that does that, we're doing those. I'm gonna invest in that a little bit later.
Adolfo's running it down right now. Speaking of, going into a place that was a little bit more sort of the same, but not like, it's a little peek behind the curtain as well. We went back to Daly's place. We had Kiera Hogan in her second Squatch match of the night in Squatch of Mania, taking on Ashley D'Amboise. And we talked about this a little bit before we started recording tonight. It's very interesting, especially in ROH, which is known for a lot of Squatch matches sometimes, that the Squatch matches in the women's division are way more competitive and fun to watch than we do have in the men's division. And I don't know whether that's because ROH just wants to feature more women this way because they don't have enough in the division, whether it's actually because of the fact that the men's division can't support wrestlers in general because none of them are really talented except for 4, or it's just the fact that the women's division in general are just better workers. I don't know, but I'd watch it and I'd pay good money for it, more than I pay to see the men.
You call it. Oh, go ahead, Jess.
No, after you.
Yeah, so like we were talking about at the beginning of the show before we started, you call this a squash match. I didn't consider it a squash match. Because D'Amboise.
Ashley D'Amboise, yep.
Ashley D'Amboise. She was super competitive against Kiera. The match, it was a solid match to me.
Yeah.
So then to hear, this, part of Squatch Mania was this squash match. I'm like, was it though? So
technically,
I might be alone on my island, but I don't think it was a squash match. Both these women, they went out there. They really entertaining with the match. It was well put together for as long or as short, I should say, as it was. And I thought it was a good introduction or a reintroduction, I guess, to D'Amboise. So
yeah, she's an ROH veteran. She's been there for years.
I didn't think it was a squash. And maybe that's just because I'm grading the men's and women's squash matches on the same level, and maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe there needs to be a bell curve or something. But this, to me, just seemed like an actually very competitive match. At no point did I think that Kiera was going to lose, but it wasn't one of those, this is going to be 2 moves and it's over. This was, okay, how are they actually putting this together? And there was so much more interest for me because of that.
And maybe it's because I have small brain, but there were actually a few spots where I thought Kiera actually might drop the match in that match.
Ashley got her in a couple of different holds that were definitely like a little bit harder than you would have thought, and she definitely had a run there where she was on fire. I do agree with that completely.
I am going to cause a split because I'm going to side with JBL on this one. I do agree that this, while it was a little bit more competitive than most Squatch matches are, and it went a little bit longer than what we're used to seeing in ROH, however, What gives this a Squatch match is the kind of dead giveaways that we have a local talent or someone they bring in for this type of match against a more established star in ROH. But on top of that too, for me, from bell to bell, from beginning to end, if I'm not going to classify it as a Squatch match, you have to have some sort of urgency and some stakes, and it doesn't always have to be necessarily for a championship or like a big stipulation. There has, in the storytelling aspect of the in-ring psychology, there has to be a good enough back and forth for it to not be a Squatch match. And while Ashley was able to get a little bit more offense in than what other matches that we saw in this episode and this evening, I don't think that she did enough for me to truly believe that Kiera was going to lose this match. So the intensity and the stakes of the in-ring work and the in-ring psychology wasn't there enough for me. I still thought it was a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. However, I don't believe that this was, while it went longer, it's still a Squatch match because, again, no stakes. It wasn't like Kiera was taking on someone like Deonte or another established ROH talent. It was the purpose of getting a Kiera win. Now, what I want to talk about, though, is because towards the end of this match, Kiera looked like she hurt herself. And even at the end, after she got the win, she was holding on to that shoulder really, really tightly. So here's hoping that it's nothing too serious, and I couldn't find anything about it. So here's hoping that it was nothing major, and wishing a speedy recovery to Kiera Hogan because we love her here at the Bro.
Well, and hopefully she's already had that recovery because it's been about 2 weeks since that taping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will say this, as listening to it and thinking about this as well. If we look back at a lot of the women's, let's call them local town or enhancement matches instead of squatches, a lot of the women they bring in are either they've been in ROH before this or they've been on the independent scene so long that they're huge names there. Because again, we run into this problem where a lot of female wrestlers are still seen as these like token things that are out there in a lot of these feds. And so they're working everywhere, like the territories, whereas some of the local talent they bring in from the men's side are like, literally, we're in this promotion in this town you've come to. We've worked 3 matches and we're going to be able to work this for the first time. So obviously with these more experienced wrestlers, you're going to get better matches in general, but they still treat them like they're squatches, which is kind of tough because these women all have deserved to have some TV time. They've paid their dues up and down, you know, the roads at this point. I'm happy ROH gives them a bit of a platform, so it's nice to see that as we go along. So what I can comment about this next promo was in our text string when this was happening. It has been quite a while since someone has had their voice and their body not sync up in the best possible way. Nick Camarado, we love you, but that voice should not be coming out of that body. I'm sorry.
This is where I was the whole entire time, and I'm going to bulldoze everyone real quick because I'm going to give my thoughts and then I'll let everyone have theirs. This was my favorite promo of the whole entire night, only because of how ridiculous it was and how much I was laughing my arse off, so to speak. Try not to get censored by the editor. This was hilarious. This was fantastic. I got what I wanted a couple weeks ago when I was hoping that we would continue whatever this is between Nick Camarado and Jacoby Watts. I just need a little bit more, and I need them to start building lore. I need to know what's inside Jacoby Watts' like prophetic book, his Bible, his whatever religious term you want to use for like his.
It's pictures of him.
It's just a picture book of him. It's be fantastic. Now, when I was watching this whole entire thing and I was listening to Nick Camarado talk, while it didn't get a high enough pitch for me, I was just like, my goodness, Nick Camarado just got put into dip. Anybody who is familiar with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the movie, you're just a couple octaves a little short.
No!
Exactly. I was waiting for that. I don't care. This was fantastic. I need to see more, but this is the best promo of the night. Fight me.
He went full pallbearer. It was crazy.
I want to see these two fight the Righteous.
There can only be one.
There can only be one crazy religious-esque tag team. So, but yeah, no, I thought it was a very entertaining thing.
You were just overflowed by the fact that Nick Camarado's shirt didn't rip in half as he kept flexing and moving. Made out of the same particles in the Fantastic Four suits.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. This promo was good. It was entertaining. I was wondering, was it last week? Was the first time that they?
It was a
that they
couple of
started
weeks.
this
It was
thing?
like a couple
Or was it
weeks
just a
ago.
couple weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was waiting. I kind of been waiting to see where it was going. So yeah, entertaining, interesting. I'm hooked. Let me see more.
This was strange. It's the only thing I can say about it. Jacoby Watts did his normal shtick. As soon as I heard his voice, I had to go back a couple times because I was multitasking as I do, ADHD superpowers here, and I had to someone else is talking. It doesn't fit, and it took me out of it. I thought I was watching Twins, and we have that scene where Danny DeVito's voice is coming out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's body. Like, it was just...
Oh my gosh.
It was fine. I'd like to see where the story goes, but it just... For promo of the night, maybe in jest, but it just was so strange that I was like, I kind of don't want to remember that this did happen.
But I'm glad it did. I was so close to taking that clip to make memes out of it, but instead of Nick Camarado's voice, it would be, hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. Or if I wanted to go over the other one, it's like, ha ha.
Very Pee Wee Herman.
This is so great. I don't care what anyone says. This was fantastic.
Oh man, I feel like there needs to be like somewhere where they just put it through a vocoder of some sort and just do a bunch of different voices. But going from our, let's call them the 1B religious team in AEW and ROH to go to the 1A religious team.
It's not religious. There's no religion in there.
It's cultish. Let's put it. It's
Cultish, yes. Religious, no.
True, but Jacoby Watts is also going for a cultish type leader as well. So we're
But Jesse, I feel it. I
with the
feel it,
righteous.
Jesse. Don't you feel it?
And their giant pet dinosaur, Lance Archer. And they're taking on... So I had to go on and find the match card for this to get the right names because honestly, they had no time to put them up. Parker Lee, Tommy Mars, and Nikki 8 were the three people there. They were the ones that took them on in this Squatch for Squatch of Mania. And the only thing I wrote down, because it's the only thing that got in time, was I enjoyed Lance Archer chasing Nikki 8 around the back so
good.
Dutch could side body him right.
So good.
Before we no. Before we go any further, before we go any further, we need to give the flowers to the announce team.
No.
All of the Motley Crue puns. It was
too many.
Good. It was so good. And
I'll
they
give
put
them
them in
flowers,
perfectly.
but they're getting baby breath from the grocery store. That was too many Motley Crue puns.
Which grocery store are you shopping at to find baby's breath? Most of them don't have it anymore.
Exactly. It's been thrown away.
That's
the flowers they'll get. That was too many. I do not feel good about the amount of puns they put in there.
Then you should go see Dr. Feelgood. Look, man, it was just... Yeah, I was shouting with the devil at this one.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a great time next week.
Oi. Jesse, as our resident righteous, basically you have the righteous's ear. You and Vincent.
You literally have
like
the
this.
connection with Vincent. Y'all be talking.
How you feeling about this?
I thought it was probably the most fun squash match they've had in quite some time, just because of how fast it was, and they seemed like they were having fun with it too. And I've also noticed that the embellishments on the vest, they're getting more and more every single week. Mm-hmm. So I had to ask him about that. I asked him about it after I watched it this morning, and he said, yeah, he does like a little bit more every single week when he gets time for it.
That's awesome.
See, Jesse is in. Vincent, come on our show. Talk to Jesse. You and Jesse need to have a sit down together and just have some fun.
I owe him. We have to go and see him next time. There's somewhere in the Northeast. We weren't able to make it to Boston.
Nice.
I understand that, but also, Jesse, I did have to ask also, did you like the match graphic beforehand with Lance Archer and his giant paper doll trail of the righteous?
I actually did enjoy that. I thought it was a cool idea, artistically in and of itself. I don't know if that's kind of putting Lance Archer above Vincent and Dutch, because that is clearly not how it should be, in my not so humble opinion. But I did enjoy it overall.
I want to also give props to Lance Archer and the Righteous's finishing move, where they lay one dude out, and then Lance Archer does that broken arrow. And
the orange sunshine into the blackout?
Yeah, right on top of the other dudes, so they stack them, and then you have Vincent come in and just sit. It just watching that was just very, to me, it was very poetic, very almost oddly beautiful.
I felt like it was
when that
home
happened.
sweet home when that happened. You know, it just
Right? Yeah. And I hope, for as much as I like the Bullet Club, I want this trio of the Righteous and Lance Archer to just beat the piss out of Bullet Club and have Vincent. Because can you imagine the two gun boys stacked on top of each other and then Vincent just sitting on top? Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. And then Jay White is like slipping out of like, you know, the other dude's grips,
Dutch.
like out of Dutch's grips because he's so greasy.
It's not grease, it's
cameras.
foam.
Yeah, it's just foam from the face.
That's foam from the face. It's foam from the face. Okay, all right. And I like Jay White. I like Jay White. We have a nickname for him in this house though, and that is Greasy. So, you know.
Well, that's okay. Mikey, short Squatch of Mania.
I laughed the entire time from the beginning match because the bell didn't even ring and those poor boys got destroyed. They were eaten for lunch to Lance and Dutch and Vincent. Like, them boys did not stand a chance.
Not at all. Enough time for a couple Motley Crue puns, not enough time to actually get over as a team. We love that, though. We come now back
Hold on,
to...
I got a question. Was it enough time to have a smoke in the boys' room?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
See, Jesse, you know how to have fun. Forget what JVL says.
Yeah, right?
I'll take it back. I'll retract my statement, as per usual.
Do it.
We then, of course, move on to our Proving Ground match of the evening. Billy Starks is taking on Dream Girl Ellie. Again, this can be considered an enhancement talent thing, even though it's a Proving Ground match, because Dream Girl Ellie, again, doesn't get her entrance. But honestly, this was one of my matches of the night. This was so much fun to watch them take on each other.
Yeah.
I want to ask before we get delve farther into the match, though, did everyone catch what Billy Starks does in the Code of Honor now? She's got two fingers crossed behind her back when she does the Code of Honor.
I love it.
Little details that make me so happy to watch that she's picking this up. It's so much fun.
That you see, it's that Athena training right there.
Mm-hmm.
Athena's rubbing off. That's right.
I love this. This was my other match of the night, as well as the 6-woman tag match. Oh no, that wasn't a 6-woman tag match. I don't know what we would call that now because Abaddon was in there, and I want to make sure I'm being appropriate.
Six-person tag match.
Six-person tag match.
Tag match.
No, I loved this match. It was just so much fun watching Billy and Athena play together in that space that they had. Hearing Billy say, "I'm going to put her in timeout" before she put her up in the Tree of Woe. That was absolutely hilarious. And Billy's spin kick. Holy shit. It is
That's
so
the rainbow
good.
mass right there. It's not a black mass. It's a rainbow mass.
I called that when I first saw it, it's like, it gets better every time. Like, damn. I went back and watched it in slow-mo. That hit flush, too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that was... The match told a great story. Like you said, Jesse, I loved the banter between Billy and Athena. You know, I also love the banter between the opponent. Between Dream Girl Ellie and Athena. You know, like there was the one when she grabbed Billy Starks by the hair and you know, she yelled something. It was good. And I really enjoyed that Athena didn't interfere, you know, because that is such a trope, especially when you have heel or heelish characters and you know they're out there like that. So it was nice that Billy got the clean win, you know, because week after week it feels like she's becoming more and more of a threat and more of a seasoned champion, I should say, you know, as opposed to, you know, the new girl that's on the block.
She's only been champion at least in ROH for a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And she's been looking, since she's got that belt, she's been looking really, you know, really like an accomplished champion, you know.
And some of the heel tactics that come from the 80s or the Outrunners or however we're phrasing that now, like when she's distracting the ref even though she didn't need to and doing the back heel kicks into Dream Girl Ellie's face.
That was so fun. I mean, not for Dream Girl Ellie, I'm sure, but you know, that was really fun to watch.
Like that's 80s heel cheese that I love.
Yeah, and yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Cheese.
Consider me a minion.
Heel cheese. What's wrong, Mikey? You lactose intolerant? You don't like the heel cheese?
Actually, no, I'm just kidding.
I'll make sure to get some heel cheese for next week. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
I am the. Don't worry about it. I am very, very easy guest to have. I don't require a lot. So, as far as this match goes, I really enjoyed it. I like seeing Billy on my television screen. She's fantastic. I love that Athena is also there as well. And I love how last episode that me and Andrew covered, we got to see Queen kind of do her thing. And then this week it's Billy and Athena. And so it's like ships keep passing in the night. Eventually they are going to collide into each other. And that's the inevitability that I am looking forward to as we are continuing to get Queen and Billy some wins for the eventual rematch that we're going to have down the line. So I'm excited to see all that. This was a lot of fun. This is fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful match, and definitely could have been the end of the night for us. We could have had this as our main event. It would have been just as good. We get our final promo of Squatch of Mania here as we get to see the inside of Tony Nese's nose and Ari Daivari noses from the extreme close-up we have as the premier athletes are bringing up the fact that they haven't really told anybody what they're actually here for. And watching Tony Nese have to swallow his pride and go, yes, I'm here for the tag titles. Me and Aria are here doing that. Yay! I don't know if this helped them at all. I'm pretty sure this is just putting them down another couple runs.
The note I wrote was, who gives a shit?
Not even met for me. We could have cut this out. We could have cut this promo out.
You just hear wet fart sound.
Pretty much.
And Mikey's like, wait, I have to defend this.
No,
I'm
not.
I have to fart out.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend it. I don't think it was as bad as you guys are saying that it was, but I will agree that it definitely didn't add anything because it's basically the same promo we've gotten from them the last couple of times we've had them backstage. I was like, okay, we've already established y'all got down and you attacked the infantry, and then you had Dalton Castle come out, and that was weeks ago. And we have yet to continue that feud. I don't know if it's scheduling, if we're waiting for certain things to happen, but you've done all the talking. You are all mouth and no substance. So either start getting in the ring, start wrestling, start doing these things, start building up a record, start building up these wins, because all you do is talk. And if you do not put action to it very, very shortly, excuse my French, JVL, and this is where you're going to have to censor me. That's some weak ass shit right there. Okay?
Mikey, you forget you're editing this, so I don't have to do it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind, I get to keep in all the cursing. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's fine, but that's some punk stuff right there. And we have seen it time and time again in various other companies and through other people that you keep giving me presentation. Now I need some actions behind that presentation. Let's get to it. Let's start fighting some folks. Let's bust some heads. Like, let's go. Stop talking. Get in the ring and put them up.
But you see, but Mikey, that is why to me this spot, this promo, they could have just left out and I would have been fine. You know, because it not only is it just regurgitating the same thing that they've said, right? But we really we haven't seen them in action. And this promo, when they cut, not to make this, I'm not making this like a WWE AEW thing, but like, take Gunther. Is that his name?
Gunther.
Yeah, take Gunther, the Ring General, right? And his band of misfits over there. They cut the same
Imperium.
type of promo. Yeah, the Imperium. They cut the same type of promo, but it's more fun to watch. Now, I don't know if it's because they don't linger too long, or maybe it's because Gunther, just has that type of charisma. But
they don't film in an extreme close-up at somebody's nipple height.
Right, so...
Well, we could take it a step further. Gunther could kick all of the premier athletes' butts up and down the ring. He's the better wrestler. And in fact, Imperium is a unit. These are 3 single stars thrown together in premier athletes. So let's keep that in mind.
That's, right, but still, like, if we're gonna make them a unit, let's try to get that type of angle. You know, that Imperium type angle.
But Mark Sterling gets paid by the word. He has to speak as many words as possible over and over again.
I just need Smart Mark to shut his trap once in a while. That's all I gotta say.
Let's get off of this. It shouldn't have been on the show to begin with. We get our main event as the Spanish Announce Project take on the Mama's Boys.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Come
on!
Don't like fun.
This
Dang it.
match is best described in the first kind of like back and forth between Garrison and Angelico. The smoothness, the absolute like control over their bodies they have was brilliant. It was so cool to see them allowed to kind of expand a bit and showcase what they've got in that respect in such a weirdly restrictive storyline that was really fun to have there. And the inventive offense both sides had was really fun. And Ian Caprice also added to this a lot. I won't go into how the ending kind of came out. That's kind of another thing we talked about earlier, and we'll talk about it a bit. But just overall for everyone here, did you feel like you saw something different out of this pairing that we hadn't seen in weeks before, or was this the same match you've seen over and over again?
No.
I thought this was better than the Supercard of Honor match they had. Was it Supercard of Honor they had their match? No.
Death Before Dishonor, I believe?
Whatever their most recent one was, I don't think it was. I thought this one was better. But I've grown so tired. This story is so stale to me. They haven't done anything with it for me to care.
They almost did.
I thought that everything in this match was fantastic except for Serpentico. That was for you, Nyla Rose. Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
I mean, John Cruz is a better wrestler. We understand that. But
right, exactly. I mean, Serpentico. No, I disagree, and maybe it's because I haven't seen these two teams wrestle as much, but it was good to me. It was fresh. I did like it did seem like they did bring some new offenses, some new thought processes into the match. All joking aside, it did feel like for the Spanish
Announce Project.
For the Spanish Announce Project, thank you. It did seem like they were kind of highlighting Angelico a little bit, and I'm probably alone on this island, but it seemed like they were highlighting Angelico a little bit more than Serpentico, which I know that Angelico has been doing a lot more singles stuff, so maybe they're trying to break them apart a little bit so Angelico can get a more of a push. I don't know, but it was good. It was good, but I'm a sucker for the Spanish Announce team. I really am. I love it when they wrestle. I love when they come out. So
there's a standoff, and I will take the lead, so Jesse can go last.
I already went. I did.
Sorry. He did.
That is true. How do I put this into elegant and thoughtful commentary? I got it. I feel that this was a little too late, because from what we got at the Supercard of Honor, mind you, that match was on 0 hour, so they didn't even make the main card. And that was back in April. We are like in the middle of May, and now they decide to revisit this. It's kind of too little too late. If you were going to have the payoff to the story, you should have did it at Supercard of Honor. Even though it was on 0 hour, at least it would have been the payoff. And this is my biggest issue with ROH right now, and just in general, because you had storylines and you had feuds, but it kind of seems that we've been meandering post Supercard of Honor. I don't know if that's because people are doing other obligations, if we're dealing with injured roster, whatever the case may be, but we need to start pulling in a focus, because right now we're just meandering with wrestling. But again, there's no story, there's no substance outside of maybe a couple of things, and that's being generous if I'm being completely honest with it. We're done with the build to Supercard of Honor, and even though the next pay-per-view is probably not going to be until July, I don't feel great waiting 2 months to start putting feuds and storylines together. And I'm about to be kicked off of the show forever for saying what I'm about to say next. In all intents and purposes, ROH is being treated like a developmental to the AEW cinematic universe. In another promotion, there is the same thing with a developmental brand, if you will. However, while ROH to me has the better wrestling because it has more established stars, I kind of side with NXT a little bit more because even though a lot of their folks are still green, at least their storylines and feuds being built into this said developmental third brand for the WWE machine, where ROH has better talent, but it's the same problem with the AEW product. There's very lack of story threads and story builds. Great wrestling, but I need you to get me more invested in these characters, because eventually good wrestling can only take you so far. It is professional wrestling entertainment. You have the wrestling portion, now give me a little bit more entertainment. I thought the match itself was fine, it's just a little too late to me for the payoff.
You weren't taken by Griff Garrison's matinee idol looks?
I have a little bit of trauma because there's somebody who, we have Griff's tag team partner in the other promotion, and both of them just need to fire their stylists immediately. Immediately. At least Griff's hair's on point. I can't say the same for Lexus King's beard.
You know, I would disagree with Mikey if the ending of the match didn't happen, right? Can we talk about that now? Or,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. All right, so the Spanish announce team, they get the win. All right, beautiful, clean win, right? And Serpentico, Maria throws Serpentico's mask in, which is, the big thing that I guess they were fighting over was
she
Serpentico's
doesn't
mask.
disgust. Yeah,
right. But then in comes in the two Yahoos,
Cole Carter and
Cole Carter
Griff Garrison. Yep.
And Griff Garrison, and they sneak the Spanish announce team and then take Serpentico's mask again. So now it's
never ending.
Yeah, now it's like, really? Can we just not? Could you have just not got the W and just like stormed off, and like licked your wounds and no, we're gonna okay. So I agree with Mikey to a certain degree. I do feel as of late ROH has been meandering, but I still feel like ROH has a better storyline and is more entertaining than the AEW bigger shows as a whole. When you look at it in the big picture, I'm gonna leave it there.
Very salient points in that respect. I can see on either side of it where it's definitely a point where both can have their places where they are at this point, and that should be a bit better in different points. Mikey, what I'll argue with you on this point specifically is NXT, while I think it's still not live, is still taped week to week and can tape their own. With ROH, with them having to cobble together ones from different shows so far, there hasn't been consistency in general. You're not going to get storyline anyway across this part, and I don't know whether that's because they haven't had time to start putting that way, or just the way that the schedules seemed to fall when they had to like change venues or things happened. I believe if they got a run like they did getting up into, the end of last year, where they were basically a week behind, it made more sense with a lot of the storylines and everything seemed to gel better together. And I think they could do better that way when they put an actual thing together that forces them to take some of these filler matches off of their fill line for, the recorded episode and actually have a point to it. So I don't know if that would help the development or not, but it's strange. Also, Jesse, I'm just going to let you know this. If they don't use this going forward, you and I are stealing this as our finisher in some sort of thing. Spanish Announce Project hitting the Heart Attack backbreaker was utterly fun.
Yeah.
That was such a good move that I want us to use that in our real lives or something. I don't know what, but it'd be fun.
We'll find something to do it in.
But while Adolfo is walking around his house, we should go into our empanada scale of this wonderful show, because we did finally come to the end of the show. Starting with Mike, you can go to Jesse, then Adolfo if he gets back here. What was your empanada rating for ROH episode 63 on Honor Club?
I'm gonna keep it simple for this one. I'm gonna give this a safe 6 out of 10 for me. Again, I was thoroughly entertained, more entertained than I was last week, but again, we're kind of still meandering around figuring out what direction we want to head to next. Nothing against the talent, but let's start picking it up. I thought the Opening match was fantastic. I really enjoyed Billy and Dream Girl Ellie, and I like this tag team match for what it was, even if the payout's a little too late. But everything else, man, like, I don't mind squash matches, but let's start actually building some feuds between the folks you got right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my empanada score for this week.
Jesse?
I actually just did the math on mine because of trying to stay consistent. This one actually got a pretty high rating for me. Understand that, the caveat there. This is I got this a 6.75. I actually really enjoyed this. I understand it was only 50 minutes, but at no point did I feel like anything was really rushed in there. And it didn't feel overbloated as a few of the ones I've watched recently have. So I enjoyed this. I had a good time. I thought most of the matches were pretty good. I'm still getting over Nick Camarada's voice not matching, so I think that'll stay with me forever. But aside from that, yeah, I had a good time.
Adolfo?
So, I apologize about that. Ike threw up on the
oh,
the
no.
couch, so I had to clean it up. But he's fine. He's fine.
Good boy. Good boy.
So, as any of our listening fans, and if you're new here, as you must know, I do not leave partial empanadas. That's just a no. So, having said that, I give this a 6 out of 10 empanadas. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because it ended and I was like, that was it, you know? I did want more, but at the same time, it was a good show in that I didn't even realize the passage of time. So when it did end, I was like, oh, that was okie dokie. Then that's it then.
And to round it all out, I gave it as well a 6 out of 10. Again, not a bad night, not a bad anything else, but honestly, I wanted more. There could have been a few other things on there that would have made it a lot of fun. I could have taken another 15 minutes of show to get me a Dalton Castle, to get me, another match in the women's division, something fun like that. And they left me the wanting. So hopefully the next couple of weeks pick that up and we find a lot more stuff in the last couple of stuff and we get to this burning sky blue Rachel Ellering match. It's going to have a whole aura around it coming on to when it finally gets on there in about 2 weeks. So we'll have to see. But for that, gentlemen, there's more vomit, but we're putting our hands in anyways. Thank you for doing this wonderful bro with me. I know Adolfo's doing it on the other side as he's carrying that around. We truly enjoy the fact that you spend your time with us here on the Bi-Conics Wrestling channel to go over these matches with us, to go over all of these types of things. Thank you. Oh, God. But if this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. Drop us a comment down there. Let us know what you liked. Hopefully you'll stay, share this video around with everybody you know, and just come and join us again so that we don't have to pray to this elder god to bring more people into our lives. It's very nice to have all that going on. We appreciate you here. We're so happy you joined us, all sitting around this circle together. And just remember, when you're here, you're Bi-Conic. And we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.